I'm gonna give you the 3 best exercises that you can utilize to improve your hand fighting on the offensive and defensive line. And we're gonna start right now. What's up everybody, it's Dane Miller from GarageStrength.com, and if this is your first time to the channel and you want to become an explosive freak athlete, you want to be stronger, you want to dominate in whatever sport that you're playing, make sure that you like, you subscribe, and you ring that notification bell so we can help you become a champion. So we know in the trenches, on the gridiron, down on the line, down on the offensive and defensive line, that there's a ton of hand fighting going on. There's holding, there's chopping on the elbows, there's gripping and grabbing on the jerseys, there's gripping and grabbing on that chest plate or the shoulder pads, there's hands going up underneath the face mask. Whatever it is that goes on, there's a ton of hand fighting. So there's gotta be a ton of grip work, there's gonna be pushing, there's gonna be pulling, and there's going to be a whole bunch of stability that has to come from our abs as well. So there's a lot of different pieces at play when we're talking about hand fighting. And this is actually an aspect that we can develop and help improve inside of the weight room. And that's a key factor here, is that oftentimes strength coaches, sports performance coaches, we've gotten away from that special strength that you can utilize on the football field. We've gotten away from training different unique aspects that can lead to total domination down in the trenches. And it's important to recognize that there can be different facets that we train to improve that hand fighting capability. So starting off with that number 3 exercise to improve our hand fighting, we're gonna focus on the rope sled pull. So if we can think back, when we're thinking about grabbing, when we're thinking about pulling as defensive linemen, as offensive linemen, as improving our grip strength, as improving our ability to try and force fumbles, of controlling our opponent's arms, of controlling our opponent's chest plate, whatever it might be, that's where that rope sled pull comes into play. We're gonna be focused on having a 2-inch rope and pulling as rapidly as possible. So if we can pull as fast as possible, that's going to target our forearm strength. We know that the sled pull is going to improve our grip strength. We know it's going to be a rapid turnover, and that's one of the key factors here with defensive and offensive linemen, is that not only is hand fighting happening, it's also happening very, very quickly. So that's one of the big components here with the sled pull, is that it's a fast turnover while applying a ton of force. That second key exercise to improving our hand fighting on the defensive and offensive line is towel homers. So what the heck is a homer? If we can think about getting offensive linemen, getting defensive linemen, and we're gonna do a standard bodybuilding exercise. We're gonna hold dumbbells at 90 degrees. We're gonna walk with those dumbbells for 15 to 20 meters, isometrically holding at 90 degrees. Then we're gonna do curls. We're gonna walk back, do curls again. Now, we're adding the towel to the dumbbell. So when we put the towel around the dumbbell and hang the dumbbell below, now all of a sudden, the football player, the offensive lineman, the defensive lineman is going to be training their grip a little bit more. That towel is going to mimic the jersey. And if they can get more strength and more power in their fingers, in their grip, in their hand, in their forearms, applied to that towel and applied to those curls, now that's going to transfer very, very well to the field when they're trying to grab the jersey of their opponent, when they're trying to hold legally or illegally as offensive linemen or as defensive linemen. And when they can get a little bit stronger with that grip on the jersey, now they're going to be able to manipulate their opponents a little bit more effectively, and they're going to get a sack, they're going to control them a little bit easier, whatever it might be, but that grip strength will transfer over tremendously well. Before we get to that number 1 exercise, we utilize all of these methods inside of our lineman-based training. If you click on the link down in the description, you can pick up a 12-week program that's gonna help you become a better offensive and defensive lineman. Coming in at that number 1 spot to improve hand fighting capability, the 1-arm dumbbell incline bench. And why do we like to use 1 arm? I like to use 1 arm because I like to force the offensive and defensive linemen to use their trunk a little bit more while they're pressing. Now, if they can get stronger on their weak side, we like to utilize their weak side first. So if we have a right-handed offensive lineman, their left side's typically going to be weaker. We're gonna target the weakness on that left side first. They're gonna do all their presses on their left side, and then they're gonna switch to all the presses on the right side. And what this does is it teaches the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman how to utilize their trunk when they're pressing, how to utilize their trunk when they're extending and when they're flexing. And now this transfers over tremendously well. They start to feel those unilateral positions when they're setting up for pass pro. They start to feel that when they're hitting their bull rush or their rip, whatever it might be, whatever technique they might be utilizing. Now they start to feel these different positions from the weight room transfer over to the football field, and that creates a dangerous formula for an absolute beast lineman who's dominating through hand fighting. So if you want to utilize these principles and these protocols inside of your training, click on the link down in the description to pick up a 12-week program designed specifically for improving offensive and defensive linemen. If you want more videos and more information about offensive and defensive lineman training, you can click on this video right here. Until next time, guys, peace.